At this moment, Tae takes Yuchan back to the company and she wants his affirmative answer, but Yuchan remains silent and says nothing. As Yuchan enters the company, he sees Boare coming out. Chairman Lee feels a bit hungry and invites Boare to eat with him. But because it is late, the restaurant is closed. Boare decides to buy ingredients and cook noodles for Yuchan. After returning home, Boare cooks with great skill. After making the chairman wait a long time, she finally finishes cooking. Coincidentally and unexpectedly, Chairman Lee has a very peculiar taste. The dishes Boare cooks do not suit him, so Chairman Lee makes coffee while Boare freezes when she sees the painting. She is startled when Chairman Lee calls her because he cannot remember the face of the character. Boare patiently sits beside him and recounts the movie's plot. After a tiring day, Yuchan falls asleep on Boare's shoulder. Boare curiously prepares to touch Yuchan's cheek, but he wakes up. Boare pretends to be asleep. Yuchan leans in to kiss Boare but then does not do it. Boare wakes up, hurriedly says goodbye, and leaves. Yuchan, now 29 years old, is incredibly talented. With his vast fortune, he can earn more than 100 million per hour. Yuchan's life is the dream life of many people. Not only does he have a high salary, but his working environment is also like a dream. The company has a gym, a modern gaming room, and even a swimming pool for employees to use freely. But to provide such a quality working environment, Yuchan has to work extremely hard. Every day, he has to welcome TV stations. Because Yuchan is so successful, he is always sought after by reporters. But Yuchan only says that as long as one has dreams and dares to pursue them, it is enough. If you just sit still, how can you suddenly become rich? Wealth and success only come to those who constantly strive to move forward. And here is Boare. She has a phenomenal memory. But Boare has been to many interviews without being accepted, because according to them, her talent is unnecessary. What Boare can do, the computer hard drive can do better. Boare sadly goes to talk to her friends who are also unemployed. When they are feeling very down, they suddenly watch Yuchan's speech. It is said that Yuchan will hold a career seminar soon. But Boare has no interest in Yuchan's company. However, anyone who joins Yuchan's company must be extremely talented. If their work does not produce results, they will be immediately fired. Conversely, those who excel in their work are greatly rewarded. Let's go to Chairman Lee's office. Whether it is because of too many employees or some illness, Yuchan cannot remember the faces of his employees. The vice chairman has repeatedly told him to see a doctor to get treated if he is ill, but Yuchan does not care at all. Cholwoo was a bit dissatisfied because he has been working here for 5 years. Yet, the chairman cannot even remember his face. Vice Chairman Min can only explain that it is a psychological issue with the chairman. He advises him to stay calm as the condition is being treated. Suddenly, Yuchan appears and finds out that Director Cholwoo was angry with him. And so, Director Cholwoo was invited to the chairman's office. But it only makes him more frustrated because the chairman still does not recognize him. Feeling too embarrassed, Chairman Lee leaves without saying anything. Afterwards, he shows his subordinates the newly created product. The new product excites his subordinates so much that they forget their grievances. The new product can clearly detail the director's schedule for the day. All that remains is to develop a voice security system to link with personal accounts. So, this product can be considered completely perfect. Yuchan asks the government for a subsidy, but Cholwoo firmly opposes it. But since Yuchan has decided, Cholwoo just sulks and leaves. Meanwhile, Boare, waiting for an interview schedule, works part-time at a restaurant. Today, on her way home from work, Boare receives a message. Boare nervously opens it, only to find another rejection message. Feeling too down, Boare goes to the park alone and sits there in a daze. Taeju is also sitting in the park and listens to all of Boare's confessions. Taeju suggests she try interviewing at Next In. Yuchan is still working hard late into the night. Despite his diligent work, Yuchan continues searching for the girl named Boonhong he remembers. Because she cannot find a job, Boare's parents regularly send her food. Today, her parents also send her some living expenses. Boare holds the envelope of money with tears in her eyes. After calling her parents, Boare remembers Taeju's words at the park. Boare turns on her computer to research Next In. Yuchan's words also motivate her greatly. As long as you have a dream, success will come to you. The next morning, Boare buys herself a new pair of shoes. She also buys many IT books. Boare tells her best friend about her plans. This surprises me so greatly, because she knows that Boare knows nothing about IT. But Boare insists that she will remember everything just by reading. However, their life goals are different. Miso just wants to be beautiful, and a beautiful person will marry a rich man, so she won't have to worry about anything. But Boare only wants to spend money she earns herself. And only by striving to improve herself every day is the right choice. Early the next morning, Boare dresses neatly and goes to Next In. The professional environment there makes Boare feel very admired. Entering the hall, she sees Yuchan introducing himself. Then Yuchan presents a series of tough questions. Even Taeju and Cholwoo do not know the answers. Everyone has ideas but no solutions. Yuchan approaches Boore and asks what she is doing there. Taken by surprise, Boore fumbles and does not know how to answer. Seeing this, Yuchan feels a bit displeased. Yuchan asks those in the audience who are here for the 100 million salary to stand up. Surprisingly, half of them stand up. Yuchan asks what everyone will contribute to earn that salary. But he is met with silence. Yuchan tells everyone standing to leave, including Boore. Boore slowly walks away but unfortunately trips and falls. At that moment, she suddenly remembers her parents' expectations for her. Boore picks up her shoe and walks back to confront Yuchan. Yuchan bluntly says that he does not need employees who are like parrots. They only know how to memorize but have nothing in their heads. Boore angrily responds that she is not a parrot. Moreover, Boore suddenly says that she is Boonhong. The chairman is very surprised and remembers the person he has always longed for, even in his dreams. After that, Boore leaves, and Yuchan, regaining his composure, rushes to find her but cannot. He quickly checks the records but does not find anything, making him very angry. Boore, feeling sad, goes out with a friend to console herself. What consoles her is seeing Yuchan's eyes widen in shock when she said her name was Boonhong. Her friend does not understand why Boore used someone else's name, but even Boore does not understand why she said that. Meanwhile, Yuchan is sitting and contemplating when Taeju arrives. Taeju says that Yuchan is very famous on social media and hands him an invitation from the Ministry of Science and Communications. Since the ministry is organizing it, people in the IT industry will attend, and this is an opportunity to appease the Parrot Queen. The next day, the three have a meeting and need one more person for their strategy. The ministry's weak point is security, which happens to be next in specialty. Last year, there were issues with the pension system, so now they must select a model student to work with the ministry, and she must be female. Someone who answered 100% of the ministry's questions from start to finish about the e-secretary proposal by memory, and none other than the Parrot Queen Kim Boonhong. After that, Director Nam and Vice Chairman Min search through the records of those at the career fair. They still cannot find Kim Boonhong but notice Kim Boore looks similar. The Vice Chairman realizes that Boore is the girl he met at the park the other day. Immediately after, Boore receives a call from Nextin, asking her to meet with the director the next day. Boore is stunned and does not understand why. Although a bit hesitant, she feels confident because this is a good opportunity. The next day, the two meet again. Chairman Lee calls her Kim Boonhong, but she says her name is Kim Boore. Chairman Lee does not care what her name is. He wants her to work for 3 days, with a salary 10 times her current one. Then he gives her the e-secretary documents and tells her to memorize everything. After that, Vice Chairman Min arrives, and Boore is surprised to recognize him. Now she knows he is the Vice Chairman. Then he informs her that he has submitted a project to the government called Artificial Intelligence in Computing, and the person in charge is the Deputy Minister of Science and Communications. Boore knows the Deputy Minister because she idolizes her. After that, the Vice Chairman takes Boore to the reference room, telling her to find any information she needs there, and reminds Chairman Lee that he cannot recognize employees' faces, so he should always ask for their names. Then he takes her to the company snack room, and finally to Boore's workspace. Even though it is only a 3-day job, she is still very happy and excited. Boore even brings a lot of snacks home, but Yuchan keeps following her, causing Boore to panic and drop her notebook. When she gets to the door, she realizes she has dropped her notebook. Boore turns back to see Chairman Yuchan holding the notebook. Boore reaches out to take the notebook back but drops a cup of noodles, then all sorts of snacks fall to the ground. Boore kneels down, not knowing what to say to avoid embarrassment. At home, Boore tells Miso and expresses her enjoyment of working at Next In, but Miso says that liking it is pointless because it is just a part-time job, not even an internship. Boore says she might still get hired because it seems the Vice Chairman likes her. The next morning, Boore goes to the company and accidentally shares an elevator with Chairman Lee. Yuchan notices the necklace around Boore's neck. Yuchan asks Boore where she got the necklace. Yuchan is very eager to know where Boore got that necklace. But at that moment, the elevator doors suddenly open. Seeing many people watching, Yuchan coldly walks away, because Yuchan once bought an identical necklace for someone. It was a keepsake so they could recognize each other later. From this moment, he begins to pay attention to Boore, making her confused. A while later, he hands Boore a file. Government officials remind her to remember each person's face. Yuchan also reminds Boore not to wear the necklace anymore because he does not like it. Suddenly, Yuchan recalls that the girl he liked had a mole on the back of her neck. Seeing Boore lying on the desk, Yuchan curiously approaches to check, but the Vice Chairman walks in at that moment. He panics and slips, waking Boore up. After that, she goes home and tries to read and memorize the documents day and night, whether on the way or at the company. Later, the Vice Chairman checks Boore. She has done very well. The Vice Chairman tells Lee Yuchan that Boore is a good person. But Chairman Lee says she is only in it for the money, and the company does not need good people, only useful ones. After that, Boore sees and hears their conversation. They both look at the wall and recall the company's founding process. Yuchan went to the company where Taeju was working to collaborate, but he was treated like a job applicant and left. Taeju chased after him, expressing his interest in collaborating, and thus a small company was born, with the new name Next In. Their goal of becoming the largest in the region was achieved ahead of schedule. They both hoped to be the best in the country and expand globally in the next 10 years. Then they started joking around, making Boare happy too. The next morning, Boare falls asleep while brushing her teeth because she stayed up all night. The chairman's loud call wakes her up, and she realizes she is late. She rushes to the company without eating or drinking, but how can she attend the conference dressed like this? The chairman hurriedly drags Boare to an upscale clothing shop. After some time, they find a satisfactory outfit. Next, they work on her appearance, making Boare look elegant and beautiful like a lady. Then they return to the company and head to the conference with everyone. Due to nervousness, Boare keeps hiccuping. Thanks to Yuchan's encouragement, Boare calms down. After that, they greet the vice minister. Then Boare presents on the electronic secretary and answers everyone's questions. Afterward, the vice minister calls Director Zhang, who handles the business side. Boare cleverly reminds the chairman to look at the tie colors to distinguish and greet the two directors. The conference ends well, and everyone says goodbye. The vice minister really likes Boare and wants to meet her often. Chairman Lee agrees immediately upon hearing this. Then Boare promises there will be no missing files like last year. Due to a system error at the Ministry of Health and Welfare, millions of pension files were overlooked, resulting in a loss of billions of won. At this point, the vice minister mentions that she was at the Ministry of Health and Welfare at that time, handling the pensions. She then leaves with an unhappy face. Chairman Lee gets furious, scolding her for saying things she shouldn't have said. He says he doesn't want to see her anymore. Boare bursts into tears, apologizing to everyone before running away. Afterward, the chairman sees Boare's shoes in the car and turns back. Boare walks away sobbing. Vice Chairman Min follows her, consoling her that it's not her fault. Boare cheers up and then Vice Chairman Min takes her to eat. Chairman Lee sees them and leaves as well. On the way, Vice Chairman Min asks why she impersonated Kim Boon-hong, and suggests that she knows about Chairman Lee, hence using that name. Boare avoids the question and asks to get out of the car because she has a part-time job. Back home, Boare puts away the necklace and checks her phone. She receives many messages asking where Kim Boon-hong is. Meanwhile, the chairman is also contemplative and sad. The next day, Boare remembers that she left her shoes in Chairman Lee's car. He sees the shoes and recalls the past. Boare gets into Vice Chairman Min's car, so he throws the shoes in the trash. Later, at the company, Vice Chairman Min discusses the upcoming meeting with the Vice Minister. The Vice Chairman is worried because the Vice Minister wants both Chairman Lee and security expert Boare to attend. But now they don't know what to do, so Chairman Lee suggests calling Boare back. She will come at any time. The Vice Chairman is confident that Boare will do her job well. And Boare is called back. Upon meeting her, the chairman ceremoniously announces to everyone that she is the head of security from Beijing. She is here for the electronic secretary project and asks everyone on the project team to go to the meeting room. At this point, he explains to the team about Boare. She is not an expert but just a fool. But because the vice minister likes her, they are doing this, and he instructs everyone to keep this a secret, including all the company staff. The chairman then tells Boare to go and prepare. Many employees look at Boare with a mix of skepticism and admiration. After that, Boare is given a 1-month contract. If she can convince the vice minister to invest in the project, she will receive 20 million won. This is an enormous amount for someone like Boare. Boare tells the chairman that everyone in the company says she is the god of the security system. Boare wants to tell everyone the truth, thinking it would be better, but the chairman disagrees because the government will not invest in a college student. If it is revealed, the project will be ruined. Yuchan tells Boare to just stay quiet. He says to keep wearing the necklace he bought her to work. Boare goes to her workspace, but before she settles in, Taeju calls her out to talk. Taeju wants to know why Boare claimed to be Kim Boon-hong the other day. Boare explains that she was too angry and just blurted out that name without any other intention. She promises not to say it again. After that, Boare and Chairman Lee have a meeting with the vice minister. During the conversation, she mentions that she greatly admires the vice minister, just like other students. This makes the chairman very angry. He reminds her that she is the head of security at Next In, not a student. What a fool! Then he gives Boare documents to prepare for the meeting next week. But at this point, Boare doesn't want to deceive the vice minister anymore because one day she will find out. The chairman says once the task is completed, she will go to the office in China and everything will be fine. Then Chairman Lee takes her to school. Before leaving, Boare asks Chairman Lee about her shoes, but Chairman Lee just pulls out his wallet and gives Boare some money. Boare suddenly bursts into tears and scolds him because those shoes were very special to her. Later, Yuchan talks about this with Vice Chairman Min. The vice chairman explains that shoes and clothes are very important to women, or they might have other value and meaning. Perhaps it hurt Boare's self-esteem. At home, the chairman hurriedly looks for the shoes but can't find them anymore. Meanwhile, the vice minister happens to see Boare with other students, talking about job applications and becomes suspicious. But she doesn't say anything at the following meeting, and lets Boare present everything about the electronic secretary. Boore is very happy because she thinks she did well and plans to go eat with the vice chairman. Then Chairman Lee calls Boore into his car to go with him. Boore wants to know what she did wrong, but the chairman just says she is like a recording machine. He takes her to a shoe store to buy a pair of shoes similar to the old ones. Seeing the way Boore tucks her hair behind her ear while eating makes him remember his ex-girlfriend. The two of them seem like one person, which surprises Yuchan very much. Back at the company, Boore tries hard to learn basic computer knowledge day and night. She curiously goes to the company's history wall. Looking at the photos, she remembers meeting Chairman Lee. Then she writes her name on the wall. Unexpectedly, the chairman walks in, but he doesn't notice. Boore is happy and smug for not being caught. She goes back to her desk, tidies up, and prepares to go home, and looks up to see the chairman still working hard, while most people are already resting by now. She thinks that nothing in this world comes naturally. At home, Boore receives news that she passed the interview from the congressman, telling her she is in the final interview round. Miso wonders why her dad seems unhappy. Boore tries to hide her emotions because, to her, Nexton is still the best. The next day, Boore tells the vice chairman about this. The chairman congratulates and encourages Boore, but Boore unexpectedly asks if she can become a member of Nexton. He says Boore should seize the opportunity in front of her. Boore is a bit disappointed. Taeju explains that Boore needs to work for the congressman for a while. When she has enough confidence, it won't be too late to come to Nexton. Boore tells the vice chairman that she will no longer attend the meetings about the electronic secretary, and she will no longer lie to the vice minister. After that, Boore goes back to Nexton. Boore feels thoughtful and attached to this place. Then she is startled when she sees the chairman looking at her. Yuchan calls Boore to his office and shows her the latest version of the electronic secretary. Because he is so emotional, Yuchan even hugs Boore. Yuchan tells Boore to prepare well for the upcoming presentation. The chairman happily leaves, leaving Boore with no time to say anything more. Early the next morning, Boore gets ready for the artist's interview. On the way, she gets a call from the vice chairman. Taeju tells her to come to the office because a serious problem is about to arise. Boore says she is on her way to the interview. Vice Chairman Taeju remembers and tells Boore to go ahead and not worry. The vice minister wants to clarify something with Chairman Lee. By chance, she sees Boore while teaching. After investigating, she finds out that Boore has not graduated from university and is applying for jobs. Boore is not the head of Nexton's security team nor a security expert from Beijing. No matter how much the vice chairman tries to explain, it doesn't make sense, because a university student is not allowed to work with the government. At this moment, Boore runs in and sincerely apologizes to the vice minister. But everything is already over. Nexton has had its funding cut and is excluded from all government-funded projects from now on. Boore runs after and begs the vice minister, but to no avail. Meanwhile, Chairman Lee is very optimistic. He says if the vice minister won't help, they will ask the minister or the president. When the performance of the electronic secretary is displayed in front of them, they will reconsider. Then he tells the vice chairman to send an email terminating Boore's contract. Seeing Chairman Lee's indifferent expression, the vice chairman is displeased. He tells Boore that she skipped the interview with NS for the electronic secretary project, but the chairman shows no concern and asks his staff to book tickets to Geneva. Since the voice recognition system has been internationally certified, the vice minister will definitely reconsider the electronic secretary. On the way, Yuchan calls Boore, telling her that even if she goes to the interview, she won't be accepted. As for the electronic secretary, there's no problem because he is going to solve it. At this time, Vice Chairman Min is looking for the vice minister's subordinate to meet and explain everything, but he says the vice minister is determined, and mentions that Boore has been persistently seeking out the vice minister day and night, rain or shine, just hoping to explain everything to the vice minister but still to no avail. At this moment, Chairman Lee calls him, asking what she most wants to hear from her mother. To set up the avatar program for the electronic secretary and create a new command. Boore angrily scolds him in the pouring rain and then hangs up. When Chairman Lee returns, Vice Chairman Min says that Boore is still following the vice minister because she thinks it's her fault, hoping the vice minister will change her decision. Then Boore has another interview with a different corporation. When Chairman Lee arrives and asks Boore why she is looking for the vice minister, if she intends to kneel and beg for forgiveness, Boore believes that if the issue can be resolved, kneeling is fine, but Chairman Lee says she is not at fault, she was just following his orders. That it's his fault. Then he takes her hand and leads her away. The chairman also says the vice minister has changed her mind because of her. The electronic secretary receives the final assessment from the department. Hearing this, Boore thinks Yuchan has come to apologize to her, but the chairman asserts that the project would succeed even without Boore. He takes responsibility for asking her to lie, then hands Boore a card, officially making her an employee of Nexton from now on. Boore joyfully shouts because her dream has come true. She then calls home to share the good news with her parents and family. Her entire family congratulates her on finding her dream job. The next day, Boore goes to the Ministry of Science, ICT and Future Planning, and the Vice Minister tells her that the consideration of the electronic secretary is because of Chairman Lee, not Boore. The Vice Minister went to Jeju Island for a vacation, and Chairman Lee followed him there. He showed the vice minister the voice recognition security system of the electronic secretary, which was certified and signed by the chairman. Then Chairman Lee applied it in practice, programming voice responses using the vice minister's profile as a model. This made the vice minister very satisfied. Although Chairman Lee is overly confident and very rude, he is extremely intelligent. This made the vice minister believe in Chairman Lee's electronic secretary. The next day, Boare officially starts her first day at work and happily greets everyone. Meanwhile, Vice Chairman Min wants to know why Chairman Lee did that, and he says he needs to take responsibility. Moreover, the electronic secretary program is not finished yet. Boare is still needed. At this moment, the atmosphere in the company is very cheerful. Everyone likes Boare very much, except for this young man, who is different. He is Yuchan, very arrogant to everyone. He comes and tells Boare to get coffee because he is her superior. Yuchan is also the best programmer here. Luckily, the vice chairman appears to rescue Boare. Then the vice chairman says that everyone here has a voice because they make money for the company, just like Yuchan's father, a notorious troublemaker. But Chairman Lee does nothing about it. So you must have a strategy. To win, you need to find your strengths. Initially, it won't be easy, but you have to strive to survive. Then he says that Boare reminds Chairman Lee of someone, which is why he brought her back here. Boare guesses the person he is referring to as Kim Boonhong. The vice chairman thinks so too. Chairman Lee has no family. Kim Boonhong is his only relative. He was devastated when Boonhong left. The vice chairman tells Boare whether she knows Boonhong or not, she should pretend not to. Upon returning home, Boare takes out her phone to check. There are still many messages from Yuchan. I can't wait on this road any longer. Please forget everything. The next day, Vice Chairman Min's sister, Tae-ra, moves her stuff in. Tae-ra says she's opening a cultural shop because she bought a gallery here. Tae-ra wants to hang out with her brother but gets refused. Later, Boare mentions the chairman's schedule. Then he gives her a gift and says someone played a trick. Boare also realizes it but knows the intention wasn't bad. She says he's a good person, even if he doesn't show it. Chairman Lee recalls this is similar to what Boonhong said before. He tells Boare that just being diligent is not enough. She must create her own game or app. He gives her a 1-month deadline, saying if she doesn't succeed, she'll be fired. Afterward, the chairman has an interview, where most people want to know about Chairman Lee, not necessarily about the electronic secretary. They ask about family relationships, but Chairman Lee is an orphan. This makes him irritated, and the interview ends early. In the evening, all three have dinner together. Tae-ra seems to like Lee Yuchan a lot, so she says she is the youngest daughter of the group. But Yuchan doesn't care. The next day, Tae-ra moves a lot of things into the company, surprising Boare. At this moment, Chairman Lee also arrives at the company. Tae-ra calls him and gets scolded. She feels puzzled and calls Tae-ju. She learns about Chairman Lee's strange illness. Even the vice chairman has to wear glasses regularly so Yuchan can recognize him. At this point, Boare tries to understand her colleague's analysis of the game, but she doesn't understand anything. Then a colleague tells her that to set up a game, she must understand algorithms. She needs a mentor or programmer to learn from. Yuchan would be perfect. He's only second to the chairman. At this moment, Vice Chairman Min comes over to talk about his sister. He says she has never been ignored like this before. Then he sees Boare pleading with Yuchan for guidance. One is inexperienced in relationships, and the other is a playboy. Hearing this makes the chairman uneasy. He works with his hands but keeps an eye on Boare. Meanwhile, Yuchan teaches Boare a little and then starts to torment her. Chairman Lee is unhappy with this way of teaching, so he rushes over to give them a lesson. After that, the chairman goes to the gallery, and coincidentally, Tae-ra is there too. Through their conversation, she learns that he dislikes paintings and art, but she wants to know why he bought the painting of the smiling woman. She reminds him of their meeting 6 years ago on Jeju Island. They met at the art gallery. He was staring intently at the painting and wanted to meet the artist to find out who the woman in the painting was. The artist didn't remember clearly, only that it was somewhere near the sea. Yuchan gave his business card and asked the artist to inform him if there were any news. And Yuchan bought that painting. At that time, Tae-ra was in charge of the gallery. She wanted to know his name and asked for a ride. Now Chairman Lee remembers she had her hair up back then. Vice Chairman Lee arrives and sees the two having a good conversation. He doesn't want to disturb them and leaves. He sees Boare still working and invites her to eat. He talks about his sister and thinks Boare has met her. She owns the gallery on the first floor. He also says something happened between her and Chairman Lee on Jeju Island. Meanwhile, Chairman Lee goes for a drink with Tae-ra. Tae-ra asks if Yuchan has found the person in the picture yet, and if he remembers anything about Jeju Island. She reminds him that he missed his flight because the car broke down, and he waited for the next one. She wants to know if he really doesn't remember or is just pretending. After drinking, they take a walk together. Tae-ra takes this opportunity to confess to Yuchan. He is the reason she came back here. Tae-ra imagines that Yuchan likes her too, but Yuchan affirms that if he really liked her, he would remember. Tae-ra then ponders, saying maybe Yuchan has forgotten the past. Does he not remember the kiss they shared at the beach? Tae-ra moves towards Yuchan and kisses him. Boare and Tae-ju, who were taking a walk together, witnessed the scene. Seeing this, Boore quickly turns around and leaves. When she gets home, Boore and Miso drink beer together. Miso guesses that Boore has fallen for the chairman, but Boore denies it, then mumbles incoherently and falls asleep. Meanwhile, Yuchan is staring at the painting, reminiscing about the past. For many years, he has been searching for Kim Boonhong. The more he hopes, the more disappointed he becomes. On the other side, Tae sits in her car, asking her brother about Yuchan. She learns that Yuchan met that girl when he moved to the orphanage at the church. They fell in love, but no one knows why the girl left. Tae thinks it's good because her rival is no longer around. But her brother explains that men will remember the girl they loved. No matter how many people come along, they will only remember their first love. The next day, Boore goes to work with a sad and downcast look. Boore shows her product to the chairman, but Yuchan shows no interest in her product. No one asked, but Yuchan voluntarily explains. He tells Boore not to overthink it, saying it was Tae who suddenly kissed him. Yuchan tells Boore to stop looking at him like that because he doesn't like it. After hearing this, Boore can't help but smile. Then Taeju arrives and asks Yuchan why he hid his relationship with his sister. Yuchan quickly explains that it was Tae who took the initiative to kiss him, but the vice chairman likes this. If they have feelings for each other, that's very good. Taeju finds it cute that Boore and Dujin are teasing each other. Yuchan looks down and then sends a warning email, causing everyone to scramble back to work. A moment later, Yuchan receives a message from Tae inviting him to eat. Because he feels awkward rejecting her many times, Yuchan reluctantly agrees. Tae says she really wants to date Yuchan, but Yuchan says he only wants to be friends with her. Even though Tae says she's a rich and beautiful girl, he doesn't care. On the way back, she mentions the airport date before going to New York. If he had come, she wouldn't have left, and tells him that work isn't everything. He should rest and have romantic moments with her. When Yuchan returns to the office, he sees Boore and Dujin talking intimately. Both are startled and turn around when they see Yuchan behind them. Yuchan scolds them to go home. How can you come up with good ideas staying up late like this? But seeing them together makes Yuchan uneasy. So he puts on his coat and goes out. Dujin and Boore enter a room together. Feeling something is wrong, Yuchan desperately calls the police. He reports that he's home alone and there's a burglar. Miso approaches Yuchan asking who he is and why he's there. Yuchan doesn't explain, grabs his helmet, and runs away. The police arrive, find nothing, and then leave. After dropping Boore home, Dujin leaves. Miso watches Dujin leave without any hesitation. Boore and Miso are watching a video of Yuchan. Miso says she saw this man at the door earlier and is sure he's Boore's boss. A few days later, Boore shows her app to the chairman, but Yuchan still comments that the app is terrible and doesn't meet the standards. Boore is disappointed because she worked a week without sleep, but now it's all in vain. The chairman says working a lot doesn't mean it's good, especially with the guidance of Dujin, who won't be helpful, and tells her to stop clinging to him. Then Boore asks him what he was doing outside her house a few days ago. Though she denies it, she finally admits and explains. Fearing Dujin might affect the company, he tells her not to worry about it. Boore shares this bad news with Dujin. Dujin listens without saying anything and quietly leaves. Dujin goes to the rooftop and sits pensively, then Boore comes up. They talk, and Dujin shares that the company often talks behind his back. 2 years ago, he created a shooting game, and since then, he hasn't done anything else. Though he tries hard to be creative, he can't come up with any ideas. Everyone has their own life, and he isn't as talented as Yuchan. Boore approaches and comforts him, saying he should be happy because he is unique. Boore and Dujin invite Miso to eat to cheer up. While standing in the lobby, they see Yuchan and Tae together. Tae blows out candles on a cake to celebrate their first date. But Yuchan refused, saying it might make them both miserable. Tae still wanted to try, and if it really hurt, she would stop first. At that moment, Boore is also witnessing Miso and Dujin having their first date. She then realizes she left her phone at the office and says goodbye to them, planning to meet later. At this point, Tae takes Yuchan back to the office and wants his positive answer. But Yuchan remains silent, saying nothing. When Yuchan enters the office, he sees Boore coming out. Chairman Lee feels a bit hungry and invites Boore to eat with him. But since it's late, the restaurant is closed. Boore decides to buy ingredients to cook noodles for Yuchan. After returning home, Boore cooks skillfully. After waiting for all the dishes to be ready, Chairman Lee finally gets to eat. But the food doesn't suit Chairman Lee's taste, making Boore feel sad. Then Chairman Lee goes to make coffee while Boore is stunned seeing a painting. She is startled when Chairman Lee calls her, because Chairman Lee can't remember the character's face. Boore patiently sits beside him, recounting the film's plot. After a tiring workday, Yuchan falls asleep on Boore's shoulder. Curious, Boore prepares to touch Yuchan's cheek, but he wakes up. Boore pretends to be asleep. Yuchan nearly kisses Boore but stops himself. Boore wakes up and hurriedly says goodbye before leaving. After Boore leaves, Yuchan sits staring blankly at Boonhong. Meanwhile, Dujin and Miso have defined their relationship and share a passionate kiss. The next day, Chairman Lee is admiring the painting in the gallery. Boore approaches, and he thinks it's Tae-ra, saying he will date her. Boore speaks up, and Yuchan realizes it's her by the necklace she's wearing. Yuchan visits the church where he used to live. An old friend at the church advises him to forget Boonhong and date Tae-ra, because she has everything, and his feelings for Kim Boonhong are not real. At this moment, Boore laughs, remembering when the chairman almost kissed her. Then she becomes sad, confusing Miso. Miso reminds Boore that today is her first payday, but for her, more important than the salary right now is the cat's message. At the company, everyone is anxiously waiting for the results, and Dujin is the unlucky one who receives it. He needs the chairman to ask the reason. Chairman Lee says the game he created is going downhill, and the upgrades are sloppy as well as failing to create anything new or interesting. And then he says goodbye. After that, Dujin tells Boore to be cautious if she doesn't want to end up like him. Then Boore calls Chairman Lee, but he doesn't answer. So she goes to the exhibition hall to find him. Suddenly he asks her out on a date, making Boore stunned. When Boore calls and he sees the necklace, he becomes very confused. At this moment Tae-ra arrives, and Yuchan says nothing but hurriedly leaves. After that, Boore asks Yuchan to give Dujin a chance. She thinks that Dujin got fired because of her. Then she explains that she has no relationship with Dujin at all. The chairman laughs and says she misunderstood. He says dating Tae-ra is just a mistake because he mistook her for someone else. These words make Boore feel very awkward. After that, Chairman Lee calls Tae-ra. Getting Yuchan's approval makes Tae-ra very happy, and she leaves her work halfway to meet him. She wants him to kiss her in front of everyone. At this moment, Boore arrives and sees it. She stands silently, feeling uncomfortable. Then the two meet in the elevator. Chairman Lee teases Boore, but she says she has never had feelings for him. Meanwhile, Miso is trying to help Dujin regain his spirit after being fired. She says that Yuchan feels threatened by him, and Dujin becomes confident again. He says he will definitely release a new product in 3 months. The next morning, while having breakfast, Boore receives her first salary. She is happy and goes to have a feast with Miso. She also prepares many gifts for her family. Miso is surprised that she also has a gift. Then Boore goes to the vice president's office. She says he is the one who helped her get the job here and that this gift is nothing special, but it is a token of her gratitude. She hopes the vice president will accept it. It is a tie with the image of a tall man who always helps others. The vice president is very happy because among all the employees, only Boore gave a gift when receiving her first salary. Boore also has a gift for Chairman Lee but does not see him in his office, because at this time he is meeting a doctor for his psychological disorder treatment. Tae-ra asks him about the result, and he says it is still the same. He does not want treatment because it is not inconvenient, but Tae-ra insists because she does not want to see her lover's cold face whenever they pass by each other. Then she takes him back to the company. He sees Boore's gift along with a note thanking him for helping her become a filial child. After that, the company has a shareholders meeting, but Director Nam cannot find the chairman. Boore says the chairman is resting because he stayed up several nights for the project. Director Nam wants Boore to find him immediately. She runs to the rooftop and sees him sleeping. She calls him repeatedly but he doesn't wake up, so she shouts. Then the chairman asks her to tie his tie. And surprisingly, he can clearly see her face. At this moment, the vice president arrives. At the meeting, the shareholders do not agree to fund the project because Nam does not generate enough profit. Chairman Lee is angry about this. He asks who added extra zeros to the balances in everyone's bank accounts. While he stayed up all night to come up with a new program, the shareholders were partying. Yuchan wants the shareholders to think about this, about the zeros in their accounts. After the meeting, the vice president asks Boore what she thinks of him wearing the tie. Then Taeju invites Boore to dinner. As they are about to order, Chairman Lee and Tae-ra also arrive. The vice president says that he and Boore are a couple too. Boore hurriedly explains and asks the vice president why he is joking like that. At this moment, the chairman scolds Boore for not working hard. The deadline he gave her is not yet met, and she is out on a date. Boore frowns because the project is too difficult. Then the vice president wants to transfer Boore to his team, because she would be better suited for business. But the chairman disagrees, saying she will cause more trouble. At this moment, Tae-ra notices that both are wearing the same type of tie, only the color is different. The vice president's tie has the image of a tall man, while Chairman Lee's tie is from the Wizard in Oz. This reminds the chairman of Kim Boonhong's words. The chairman tensely asks Boore how she knows he is a designer. At the same time, Boore receives a message from Miso. Boore apologizes and leaves after getting the message. That night, the chairman dreams of a vague image of a girl. But when he looks closely, he sees it is Kim Boore. He rushes to Boore's house but hesitates, unsure of what to say when he meets her. Feeling unsure, he leaves. Unexpectedly, it starts to rain heavily, so he takes shelter nearby. Coincidentally, Boore and Miso also arrive. Both of them recognize him, and Miso happily tells Boore to go home, while she goes to Dujin's house and will not be back tonight. Because Yuchan got soaked in the rain earlier, he needs to change into different clothes now. Yuchan looks very funny wearing Boare's pajamas. Curious, Yuchan goes into her room. Boare quickly stops him and asks Chairman Lee why he came here. Chairman Lee says he misses her and explains. When he was sleeping, he suddenly remembered her face and came to confirm. Because she is the first person whose face he can remember, it is very important to him. Then he looks at her closely, and the power goes out unexpectedly. Boare lights a candle to see better. Yuchan looks at Boare and realizes he has mistaken her for someone else. But the clothes are still wet and cannot be worn outside, so he stays. That night, the chairman asks Boare if she knows Boonhong or is closely related to her. Boare says that they do not know each other at all. Then Yuchan says that the first time they met, she said she was Boonhong, which made him remember her. Because Boare wears a necklace identical to hers, he mistook her for Boonhong, seeing how Boare eats in her tie as well. But Boare pretends to sleep, so Yuchan stops talking. Early in the morning, after Chairman Lee leaves, Boare looks at the pictures and recalls meeting Boonhong and Yuchan. Boare confides in Miso that she will tell Yuchan the whole truth and sincerely apologize to him. When she meets the chairman, she plans to tell him everything, but the deputy minister calls, saying that the e-secretary project has been chosen for the government subsidy program. This news makes all the employees in the company extremely happy. Meanwhile, Dujin neglects eating and sleeping, forgetting Miso's birthday. He has no money left, only enough to buy a gift for Miso. Miso feels she cannot bear it anymore, so she breaks up with him. A few days later, Dujin brings his new product to meet Boare. He wants Boare to take this product to show Yuchan. Dujin does this not to return to Next In, but just to get an honest review from the chairman. At this moment, Yuchan is visiting an art exhibition with his girlfriend, then they take a walk together. Taere sees something and tells him to wait there. She goes to a young artist. Even though the boy hasn't had any formal training, each of his paintings is a masterpiece. Miso gives the boy her business card and says they will be in touch. Yuchan stands on the bridge, receives a message from Boare, but he ignores it. Because Boare can't contact the chairman, she goes to his house. At this moment, Chairman Lee also arrives home. Boare wants to say something to Yuchan, but Taere also appears here. Boare hands Dujin's new product to Yuchan. Boare conveys what Dujin wants to say to Chairman Lee. Inside, Yuchan immediately tries it and is very satisfied. Taere feels a bit jealous because he has never been this happy while out with her. The vice president finds it too dangerous. It affects Nexton's ongoing project too much, and opposes Dujin working for the company again. Chairman Lee does not want Dujin to return either, because the environment at Nexton may have ruined his talent. Later, Boare appears wanting to hear the chairman's opinion on Dujin's product, because his opinion is very important to Dujin. Dujin comes to meet the chairman in person to talk. Dujin cries when Chairman Lee decides to establish a company for him, but the vice president objects because the initial decision was only to buy his idea. Chairman Lee doesn't care because it's not the company's money. This makes the vice president leave in anger. Even Director Nam is upset about this and wants Vice President Min to become chairman. The vice president forbids talking about this, because Yuchan is the one who created Nextin. Without the engine, the ship won't move. It's just that this engine is a bit unusual. Boare goes home to tell Miso about Dujin, then advises Miso to get back together with Dujin. Miso doesn't agree unless Dujin begs her. Then Boare invited Miso to the company party because Dujin was also there. That day, the atmosphere at the party was very lively. Suddenly it stopped when Taere appeared. Everyone cheered to welcome her. Yuchan, not recognizing her, asked who that woman was. Vice Chairman Min said that she was his girlfriend. Chairman Min reminded Yuchan to compliment Taere. Yuchan, like a robot, complimented Taere on looking very beautiful today. Then two girls walked in, and the chairman immediately recognized Boare, leaving everyone surprised. Seeing this, he rubbed his eyes while the vice chairman intervened. Then he told everyone to raise a glass for Nextin and the electronic secretary. At this moment, Dujin and Miso met again. Both kept mocking each other. Then a girl approached, and Dujin introduced her as his girlfriend, then she left. It turned out she was just an actress Dujin hired, making Miso angry. Miso turned away while Boare happily chatted with colleagues. Chairman Lee couldn't take his eyes off Boare. Seeing this, Boare made Chairman Lee speechless. But this made Taere unhappy. She asked Boare if she liked the chairman. Boare said no way, how could that be? Taere sternly told her to remember that. Then Boare wondered, I can like anything I want, so why can't I like the chairman? While the chairman was outside on a call, he saw Boare standing cold waiting for a taxi. Yuchan took off his coat and put it on Boare. Boare asked why she couldn't like him. Clearly, Boare liked the chairman before Taere. The chairman called her foolish. But she said she wasn't foolish, since he came to find Boonhong and Namhae. Then Boare fell silent, realizing it was something she shouldn't have said, and hurried away. But the chairman held her back, wanting to know who she was and how she knew Boonhong. At home, Boare went straight to her room and cried while Miso comforted her. The next day, Boare didn't go to work and just wanted to hide in bed, while the chairman called for the project team. The electronic secretary called for a meeting immediately. The vice chairman said to call director Nami and Boare to the meeting room, but Boare was not there, so they told them to notify immediately when she arrived. In the meeting, the chairman talked about Big Five, an expanded version of Minify, making everyone wonder since the government had just selected the electronic secretary project a few days ago. The chairman said that was just a minor point, the end goal was Big Five. Then the vice chairman asked if the chairman was confident with Big Five. Chairman Lee said that he had come this far to do that. Then he said if the vice chairman didn't agree, he wouldn't proceed, and the vice chairman told him to go ahead. At this point, Boare still hadn't gone to work, and the vice chairman called, but her phone was off. The chairman then said Boare was removed from the project. Then both had a meeting with the deputy minister to talk about Big Five, and everything was fine. On the way back, the vice chairman wanted to know what happened to Boare at the party. Chairman Lee said she deceived him to get into Next In. Said her name was Boonhong, then said she didn't know who Kim Boonhong was. She used that name to get attention. The vice chairman then said it wasn't so, he was the one who asked Boare. She said she'd rather not go to Next In. But the vice chairman tried to invite Boare and told her not to mention Boonhong. To the chairman, when they returned to the company, they found out that electronics had jumped into the personal data integration network market named MiFi. The deputy minister also knew about this and called Chairman Lee. She said the names and security were different, but the theme and algorithms were the same. Then assuming the information has been leaked, but the chairman sees it as beneficial and wants to see which project will win. Director Nam, on the other hand, is worried because they have the technology, materials, and their funds are endless, while Nextin needs investor approval to get funds for the server. The chairman angrily says this is his company and his project, he will buy the server with his own money. Meanwhile, Tara is modeling for a young artist. After seeing her portrait, which looks very realistic, Vice Chairman Min comes to see his sister. After talking, Tara says she will ask their father for help, but Vice Chairman Min says there's no need to do so. Tara insists because this should be done for Yuchan. Tara really wants to know why Yuchan recognized Boare. Vice Chairman Min doesn't know what to say, so he says it was just a coincidence. Then Chairman Lee calls Boare but can't reach her, so he goes to her house. Boare apologizes for not keeping her promise to him, but the vice chairman isn't there to blame her. He wants to know what she will do next. Boare says she will go to meet the chairman, tell him everything, and apologize. But the vice chairman advises now is not the time to meet the chairman, and wants her to talk about Boonhong with him instead. Boare sobs and tells about Boonhong, who was her high school friend. Back at the company, the vice chairman advises Chairman Lee to collaborate with T-San on this project. We have the technology, they have the money and split the profit. This is the only way to save Big Five. Then the vice chairman says he has met Boare and knows everything. Boonhong died 7 years ago from cancer. Boare met her at a nursing home in Nami. And this is a shock to Chairman Lee. Then the vice chairman also tells Tara about Boonhong. Tara is worried and wants to know how Yuchan will react. He will work madly, which is his habit of avoiding pain. Then Vice Chairman Min tells Tara to go comfort Yuchan. But Tara wants Yuchan and Boare to stop seeing each other. Tara knows her brother also likes Boare. Then Tara goes to meet Yuchan. They have a romantic date together, eating and strolling. Tara invites Chairman Lee to go on a relaxing trip with her next weekend. Unexpectedly, Yuchan agrees immediately without hesitation. Meanwhile, Boare is back to working as a waitress at the restaurant. Vice Chairman Min also comes to the restaurant to talk to Boare. He advises her to meet the chairman when things cool down. Boare agrees. Then the vice chairman says he will find her a job or give her money if she needs it. But of course, Boare refuses his offer. Then Vice Chairman Min takes Boare home. Unexpectedly, Chairman Min confesses his love to Boare, surprising her greatly, but Chairman Min tells Boare to think about it and not rush to answer. Meanwhile, the chairman has a dream. In his dream, he sees Boare's image very clearly. While immersed in the dream, Tara wakes him up. At home, Tara gives Yuchan a picture of herself, because Tara wants him to look at her picture every day. Tara wonders where the old picture he used to look at is. Yuchan says he put it away because there's another face he needs to remember. Tara kisses Yuchan joyfully. At midnight, Yuchan wakes up and takes out the portrait of the smiling girl to look at it, then starts crying. Meanwhile, the vice chairman goes home to negotiate business with his father. He is the chairman of the Taesan group. When he sees his father not agreeing, Yuchan kneels down and begs his father. Chairman Lee, while working, receives a message from Boare. 7 years ago, she met Boonhong in a nursing home in Nami. She is very beautiful with pale white skin. They quickly become best friends. At that time, she has cancer but will recover because it is only in the early stages. The things Boare knows about Yuchan are from what Boonhong told her, but not long after, Boonhong passes away. And then Boare changes her job to a gas station attendant. On the way back, she sees and recognizes Chairman Lee. They remain silent, just looking at each other for a moment. Then the chairman drives off, leaving her in tears. But not long after, the chairman returns to Boare. Yuchan is very angry because he can't get Boare out of his mind. No matter how hard he tries, he can't forget her. Yuchan and Boare visit her home in Nami. Her family is suspicious of her relationship with Chairman Lee. The family prepares a lavish meal to entertain the chairman. At this time, Chairman Lee is still sleeping despite Boare's calling. Seeing this, Boare asks her brother to take the chairman to the bedroom. The family wonders why he is sleeping like that. Boare says that Yuchan has been sleepless for many days. Then she tells her father that if the weather is good tomorrow, she and Chairman Lee will go by boat to Joey Island. At this time, the vice chairman is looking at the company's history wall when his sister comes. She wants to know how the negotiation with Taysan Electronics is going. He says they want a clause recognizing the copyright of Big Five and are still negotiating. Then the brother asks Tara why she hasn't gone on vacation yet. She says Yuchan has gone to Nami to arrange everything. After that, the vice chairman texts Boare. He learns that she is also in Nami and is with Chairman Lee. Vice Chairman Min feels very angry upon receiving this news. Chairman Lee, upon waking up, eats like he has never eaten before. Yuchan really wants to go to the beach, but due to bad weather, he stays home. And he continues working on the Big Five interface. He tells Boare to try it, but she is too clumsy, and after trying for a while, she still can't do it, making the chairman frustrated. Then Boare says that they create it for everyone to use, not just for Nexton employees. And among them are people who are not used to using computers, so the interface should be as simple as possible. The chairman realizes this and deletes it to start over, because if it is difficult and boring for users, it is a failure. Meanwhile, Tara is looking at Park's paintings. She feels strange and leaves to call a young artist she knows, but the phone number does not exist. At this time, Dujin also takes his new lover to see the art exhibition. Then they plan to go eat but meet an old classmate. Miso and Dujin meet again, still with sarcastic tones and resentful looks. Then she leaves with her boyfriend. Chairman Lee is testing Big Five with Boare's grandmother, but it is still not accurate. Afterwards, they return to the city, and the chairman tells Boare to go back to work the next day. And there is a meeting to explain Big Five on Friday. Yuchan advises her to say that she took a few days off if anyone asks. Regarding their relationship, he maintains his relationship with Tara, so he cannot like her. Boare also says she doesn't expect anything from him. At this moment, Tara calls to ask where Yuchan is. Now, Vice Chairman Min is in the hospital. Yuchan hurriedly drives to the hospital. The doctor says it's only a minor injury, so he was unconscious for a moment. Then the chairman reviews the camera footage but doesn't see the culprit's face. However, the culprit seems to know the security well, suggesting it's someone from the company. Yuchan visits the vice chairman and asks if he saw the culprit's face. The vice chairman says he only caught a glimpse and asks if there are any problems with the machinery. Fortunately, without the vice chairman, it would have been disastrous. Chairman Lee has reported to the police and believes someone in the company did it. So he wants to investigate personal assets and employee computers, but the vice chairman insists on not agreeing because it would affect the employees' morale and also bring shame to the company's security. Then he asks Yuchan if he likes Boare. Yuchan says if he's worried about Tara, there's no need, but the vice chairman says he's worried for himself because he likes Boare. If Yuchan also has feelings for Boare, he will give up. Regarding work, he has given up the partnership with Tae-san because Yuchan doesn't like it. Tara is introducing paintings to customers when Yuchan appears. Tara meets Yuchan for a while but has to leave because of work. Meanwhile, Boare visits Vice Chairman Min in the hospital. Boare says she will return to work at Next In, but the Vice Chairman doesn't want that because he's afraid the chairman will hurt Boare. Then she apologizes for not being able to date or have a long-term relationship with him, and wants everything to be natural as before. Vice Chairman Min asks if she likes Chairman Lee, and Boare confirms it. Meanwhile, Tara has found the artist Don Ha. She wants to verify that Don Ha's paintings are being attributed to Artist Bach. Artist Bach's manager agrees to return all the paintings, on the condition of 5 million per painting, totaling 500 million, but Don Ha denies that they are his paintings and leaves. Tara wants Don Ha to come in and clarify everything, but due to the large sum, he can't. Unable to resolve it, Tara decides to destroy the paintings. Tara says that since she will buy them, she has the right to do what she wants. Tara's hand gets injured from destroying the painting. Don Ha says she doesn't need to go that far. She says her father taught her not to take others' property, as it is greedy. Don't lose what you have, it's not greed, but justice. Then Don Ha recalls their first meeting. They talk about the painting of the smiling girl. It is the painting he sold to Artist Bach. At this moment, Chairman Lee is trying to help Boare prepare a presentation. It has to be good and captivating like hypnosis, but stupid Boare keeps repeating the same mistakes, making the chairman lose his patience. Unexpectedly, Tara comes to find Yuchan and Boare playing around. Tara gets jealous and wants Yuchan to fire Boare. But why have Boare and Yuchan become so close lately? Yuchan says he can't fire her because Boare is very useful for the company's existence. Tara wants Yuchan to transfer Boare to another department. Yuchan tells Tara not to worry about Boare, that there's nothing going on. Tae shows Yuchan her injured hand. But Yuchan doesn't show any concern for his girlfriend. Tae, feeling disappointed that her boyfriend doesn't care, sighs and leaves. The next day, Tae wants to sign a 10-year contract with artist Dong-ha, but Dong-ha doesn't want to sign any contract. However, he says he will continue to paint and send the works to Tae even without a contract. Later, Tae answers a phone call, and when she returns, Dong-ha is gone. Meanwhile, Vice President Min is deep in thought when the person who hit him enters. It's a former employee who was fired by the company. He asks why Vice President Min didn't report him to the police after seeing his face. Vice President Min says he won't dare to do it again. On the other hand, Vice President Min limps into the company. During the presentation, the chairman highlights the benefits of Big Five, but the shareholders oppose the project, telling him to stop dreaming. Chairman Lee wants to argue, but the vice president stops him. Later, Director Nam says the shareholders and the board of directors want to halt the project. Chairman Lee, furious, decides to sell 10% of his total 26% shares at a price of 130 billion won, to buy land for business and launch the project. But the vice president wants to share the sale equally, with each taking 5%. The chairman disagrees because Big Five is his project. The vice president feels sad because he thought it was both of theirs. Then, Director Nam asks the vice president to advise Chairman Lee, because if he continues, the chairman will be dismissed. When Boare comes home from work, she finds the chairman waiting outside. She cries because Big Five is dissolved. Seeing this, the chairman consoles her. Coincidentally, the vice president arrives and leaves upon seeing them. Then Boare asks the chairman why he came. He says he suddenly remembered his aunt's scary face, and they both laugh. After finishing their conversation, Yuchan leaves as well. The next day, the company is in chaos because someone has leaked customer personal information. Since there's no sign of a system breach, the police quickly get involved to investigate next in. While the vice president remains calm as if nothing happened, the chairman and employees are also trying to find a solution 2 days before the next in information leak occurred. Vice President Min says, "Sister, don't wait for Yuchan anymore. He only cares about himself." Then he says Yuchan is currently with Boare and Nami. He's the one who caused both of us to end up heartbroken. So he will remove Yuchan from the chairman position. But he can't do it alone, so he asks Tae for help. Tae remains silent and then goes to meet Yuchan. Tae asks if he cancelled their trip because of Boare. But Yuchan tells Tae not to worry about Boare. Tae wants to know if Yuchan still has feelings for her. But Yuchan isn't sure and is trying his best. Tae says if he doesn't have feelings for her, then they should stop seeing each other. Tae felt like Yuchan was playing with her heart. At this time, the vice chairman was discharged from the hospital, so Boare went to pick him up. When they got home, they saw the person who had attacked him the other day. He quickly hugged Boare to prevent her from seeing. After that, the vice chairman gave the data of 10 million people to that person, and he wanted to know the reason because doing so could destroy the company. The vice chairman said this was the best way to ruin Chairman Lee. He advised immediately going to China to buy the shares the chairman was trying to sell. Chairman Lee could only apologize to everyone for the leak of personal information, and asked the police to investigate. All employees, including Tae, saw the information and called her brother, and disagreed with that approach because it could bankrupt the company. After that, Tae went to find Boare and asked her why she lied about not liking Yuchan. Boare said it was because she didn't understand her feelings at that time. Boare truly had no intention of coming between the two of them, and besides, the chairman had no feelings for Boare. Tae also believed that Boare wasn't that kind of person, but she still wanted Boare out of Yuchan's sight. Boare said she would accept being fired for incompetence. But leaving next in because she liked Chairman Lee was ridiculous. She would not do that. Tae said the only way was for Yuchan to leave next in. She couldn't stop Boare but could remove Yuchan from the chairman position. At home, Boare received a call from Dujin. Boare told Dujin about the current situation of the company. Dujin guessed that the laid-off employees had planned revenge. There were countless people wanting to take it out on Yuchan. Dujin told Boare not to say anything because this was his specialty. Dujin didn't forget to tease Miso either. Miso was curious about Dujin's current life. But Boare said it was best to call him directly. Miso suddenly had a severe stomachache. Boare saw the situation was bad and took her friend to the hospital. The doctor diagnosed acute appendicitis that required immediate surgery. When she got to the company, there was an emergency shareholders meeting. The shareholders were extremely angry and wanted Yuchan to kneel and apologize. Yuchan said if kneeling could solve the problem, he would do it right away. Now finding a solution was the top priority. Then a young shareholder had something to say. At first, he bought next in shares to make money. As he learned, he greatly admired Chairman Lee, because his continuous innovations surprised the world. And he always trusted him with his money. Chairman Lee wanted to know his name and bowed in apology. The chairman promised to change everything and hoped he wouldn't sell his shares, because his trust would not be in vain. Then the vice chairman met with Chairman Lee and said it was a mistake to let him do as he pleased, and created unnecessary enemies. And that was the reason for the information leak and the destruction of the Big Five results. Back in his office, the vice chairman had someone buy all the shares the company sold. Then an employee informed the chairman. The Ministry of Information and Communications kept calling. The chairman told Boare and the vice chairman to go in his place. The deputy minister had heard about today's shareholders meeting and the dire situation, so they decided to suspend the Big Five. The vice chairman requested some time to find a solution but was denied. Then the deputy minister wanted to speak privately with Boare. She said her term was ending soon, and she was considering a political career and wanted Boare to work with her. Boare was surprised by this. The deputy minister told her to take her time to think it over. Meanwhile, Miso was informed by the nurse that she was 2 months pregnant. At this time, the vice chairman and Boare returned to the company. He apologized for the previous hug and kiss, saying he couldn't control himself. He was angry because Boare kept thinking about someone else. He then said Yuchan would leave with Taere soon. This caught Boare's attention, but she didn't react. There was a call from the chairman. He was mumbling because Boare didn't answer. Then Taere came to see him. She said she missed him so much she rushed over here. Without caring whether he was home or not, she said she attended the shareholders meeting. And she would help him with anything because she was the youngest daughter of the Western Sand Group chairman. Then the chairman was about to take a call, but Taere stopped him. She told him not to do anything tonight and just stay with her. Meanwhile, Boare went to visit Miso. Upon learning that Miso was pregnant with Dujin's baby, Boare wanted Miso to tell Dujin about it. But Miso adamantly refused. Seeing Miso wouldn't say anything, Boare called Dujin herself. After dealing with Miso's situation, Boare rushed back to the company. Boare called Yuchan, but he saw it and ignored it. At the company, the employees were planning to quit en masse. Seeing things getting tense, Boare ran to the chairman's private residence. Yuchan was upset because Boare said she would come whenever he called but was late this time. Boare apologized, saying she had something to deal with today. Boare blamed Chairman Lee for not answering her calls many times. Then the chairman remembered he couldn't avoid it at that time, and he realized no matter how hard he tried, nothing would change. Taere was a good person, while he was just a jerk. Taere didn't know what to say, so she left. Boare wondered how they would handle things now. Yuchan reassured her that they had a plan in place. Yuchan told her to call the vice chairman and director to the meeting room. Seeing everyone looking downcast, he reassured them he had a solution, and that solution was to compensate the victims of the information leak. Yuchan would use his shares to compensate for the damages. If it wasn't enough, he would borrow from the bank and use the Big Five project as collateral. Then the vice chairman wanted to convene the board of directors for an agenda. Director Nam suggested dismissing Chairman Lee, and everyone agreed to it. At this point, Boare remembered what Taere and the vice chairman had said. They had been plotting this all along. She watched the chairman walk away sadly, unable to do anything to help. That night, Dujin visited Miso to confirm the news. Dujin said they had only been together once 3 months ago. Miso got angry because Dujin asked her that, so she hit him and chased him away. That night, Boare met with Vice Chairman Min. She asked if he and Yuchan would swap positions now. But the vice chairman said it was best for Yuchan to stay hidden. Then Boare went to see Yuchan. He believed Vice Chairman Min would be a better chairman than him. Boare asked if the chairman was really going abroad with Taere. If he went, she would also leave the company because she had just gotten a new job. Yuchan said he wasn't going anywhere, so she should stay. Yuchan is next in. Next in is Yuchan. Yuchan also said that he had broken up with Taere. At home, Boare asked how things were going between Miso and her boyfriend. Miso said that Dujin suspected the baby wasn't his, so she kicked him out. Miso told Boare not to contact that jerk anymore. When the chairman arrived at the company, he received news of his suspension and removal. This shocked Director Nam, because initially, it was only planned to demote him to vice chairman. At this time, Dujin also found out that the person who leaked the information was the team leader who was fired last year. He didn't go abroad but set up a company in China. He told the chairman to check the email he had sent. The outside director was Vice Chairman Min. Chairman Lee immediately ran to question the vice chairman. Vice Chairman Min admitted to all his actions, because Yuchan was too dictatorial. If Yuchan hadn't said Big Five was his alone, none of this would have happened. After that, Yuchan held a press conference. He resigned as chairman and left Next In. Yuchan left with a vengeful look. Then Chairman Min announced that Next In and Taysan Electronics had agreed to cooperate on the Big Five project. When Yuchan met with Director Nam, he found out that all his money had been used for compensation, so now he had nothing left, and all the projects belonged to the company, which drove Yuchan crazy. After checking, he couldn't access Big Five anymore. He called for a meeting, asking anyone willing to start a new company with him to stand up, but now everyone only listened to Chairman Min. Yuchan lost his temper and screamed, because in a flash, everything he had created now belonged to someone else. Boare cried watching him scream. She couldn't do anything to help. Yuchan left quietly without looking at Taere. Only Boare wanted to go with him, but he told her not to come because he didn't want to be seen by her right now. Chairman Min chased after her to stop her from leaving Next In. but she said she liked Chairman Lee and would stay by his side. Bo-rae chased after Yuchan, saying she wanted to go with him because her heart told her so. Even if the decision was wrong, she wouldn't regret it. She said she had declined the deputy minister's offer and also Chairman Min's hand. Then Bo-rae wanted to take a picture like the one on the wall at Next In, because today was the first historic day. Yuchan thought it was the last day, right? This is the history of Bo-rae and Yuchan, and this time she is by his side. Then both come to the riverbank. Bo-rae cheerfully insists that he must stand up proudly. Yuchan asks why she's so happy. She says because he's always in a very high position, it's difficult to get close, but now he's beside her, and though he's lost, it's lucky for her. Then they decide to get engaged, but suddenly stop. Afterwards, Bo-rae says they'll plan together and start over for the second time. The next morning, Bo-rae calls Yuchan from Do-jin's office, saying she'll stay here temporarily. After arranging everything, she'll call him and advise him to rest for a few days to recover. Do-jin is preparing to meet Miso at this time. Bo-rae asks if the two have reconciled, but Do-jin still refuses. Do-jin says this is his last visit, as there won't be another chance after today. Because the doctor is busy, Miso and Do-jin take each other out to eat. These two love each other deeply. After talking for a while, Miso splashes water on Do-jin. Miso eats while crying. As for Yuchan, after the lawyer calculates everything, his money, house, and car fly away. Yuchan sadly drags his suitcase to the temporary church. Bo-rae also comes here to pray. Here she meets the church caretaker and Yuchan's friend. The caretaker feels Yuchan is very lucky to have Bo-rae by his side. Yuchan will surely find it difficult to open his heart due to past wounds. Hopefully, Bo-rae will always be by Yuchan's side in the future. At this time, Chairman Min has a meeting with the Western products. Because the electronic secretary interface is too expensive, he wants to abandon the configuration to save half of the costs, and the Big Five team objected. However, due to the new budget interface change being approved, Chairman Min agreed. Then Director Nam proposes a new work contract for the Big Five team. The terms are similar to before, with only the salary being adjusted. At the end of the meeting, Chairman Min goes to look at the historical wall. He removes a few pictures and tells the staff to take them away and repaint the wall. Then the two Chairman brothers meet outside the company. Tae-rae asks her brother when he started planning to eliminate Yuchan. Chairman Min remains silent without saying anything. Tae-rae thinks Chairman Min is jealous of Yuchan, so he planned to take what belongs to Yuchan and make it his own. Tae-rae guesses that her brother has been planning for a long time. Meanwhile, Yuchan has arrived at Do-jin's company. Do-jin tells Yuchan to feel free to use the workplace like his own. Then he has to leave because of an appointment. Bo-rae says she's starting work now, but Yuchan's mind is currently blank, so he doesn't want to do anything. Yuchan asks Bo-rae to borrow 10,000 won to buy sweet ice cream. After a moment of choice, he chooses the green tea flavor. Bo-rae looks at the man in front of her and thinks he's like a child. Meanwhile, Do-jin plans to go to the hospital with Miso to deal with the child. Actually, he imagines Miso carrying the child along with him. The child is really cute and chubby. Then Do-jin calls Miso to say he has to go on a business trip, so he can't come. And for another appointment, he says he'll pay the hospital bill so she shouldn't go to the hospital alone. Miso, angry, decides to return. Meanwhile, he stands looking at the baby shoes of the child. Meanwhile, Bo-rae asks to borrow money from Miso to start a company with Yuchan. Miso thinks it's too reckless to do business lightly. Yuchan will be fine if he takes it seriously again. Bo-rae explains that she's doing this because she loves this job. Miso doesn't believe her and thinks Bo-rae is doing this because she likes Yuchan. At Bo-rae's company, she tries to find subcontracting contracts for Yuchan to do, but he says he doesn't want to work for someone else. Just then, Bo-rae receives 10 million won from Next In, so she hurriedly runs away. Meanwhile, Yuchan watches a video about Big Five starting experimental activities, but the interface changes again, so he's very angry. Meanwhile, the deputy minister has a meeting with Next In and Western products. She also knew and wondered why there was no explanation about the change in Big Five interface. That made the deputy minister unhappy. Then Chairman Min came to see the historical wall repainted. He remembers the first day of establishment with Yuchan and has dismantled it himself. At this point, Yuchan has arrived at Next In and met Director Nam. He says he wants Chairman Min to change Big Five back to its original state. Reluctantly, Director Nam says he'll try to persuade Chairman Min. Yuchan also sees Bo-rae appearing here. She's here to return 10 million won to Chairman Min, but he says it's encouragement money from the previous electronic secretary project. It's a clause in the contract, and I apologize for resolving it a bit late. Chairman Min asks about Yuchan's current situation. Chairman Min guesses that Yuchan is planning a comeback, but Bo-rae says Yuchan isn't doing anything. Upon learning that Yuchan doesn't intend to do anything, Chairman Min feels disappointed. At this point, Tae-rae also goes to meet Yuchan. She says Bo-rae is talking to Chairman Min. Then she says if Yuchan wants revenge on his brother, she'll help, and says everything is because of Chairman Min and she was also involved. Yuchan says he already knows everything, but if he seeks revenge, what's left? Yuchan believes that everything that happens is because of himself. I went to meet Boare and talked with the deputy minister. The deputy minister provided confidential documents analyzing errors and issues with the Big Five interface, researched by the Ministry of Science and Technology. He told Boare to read through and then report back to Yuchan, because Yuchan is the only one who can solve this problem. Boare was very grateful to the deputy minister. Back at the company, Boare said she found a job for Yuchan to inspect the Big Five interface. Yuchan asked if Chairman Min requested this, because he saw the two of them at Nexton's cafe. Then he told her to go back to Nexton with Chairman Min, saying he no longer needed her. Boare asked if he didn't trust her because she's a liar. Yuchan confirmed that and angrily walked away. Boare, heartbroken, shed tears and wrote down what she wanted to say on paper. She wants him to change the Big Five within a week. The deputy minister wants Big Five to follow Yuchan's imagination and technology. Yuchan laughed and said 3 days would be enough. He quickly got to work. Only after completing it did he feel relaxed enough to sleep. The deputy minister had a meeting with Chairman Min and the Big Five team. What she said seemed somewhat incomprehensible to Chairman Min. She mentioned asking him to fix Big Five, but he created an entirely new version instead. Chairman Min wanted to know who programmed it. Then the Big Five team stepped forward to try it out, with the message that they would change the world. At this point, Boare told Yuchan that the deputy minister said his interface design was selected. However, the developer was credited to the West Electronics Company. Both didn't care, jokingly nurturing a happy atmosphere. Later, Yuchan was surprised when the Big Five team arrived and wanted to work for him. Then Yuchan said he would restore Big Five. Even if our names aren't known, just do what we enjoy, and the whole world will like it. Later, Dujin said Yuchan is the company's chairman and he will be the vice chairman. Then everyone discussed giving the company a grand name. Boare immediately signaled Yuchan. Yuchan then chose a company name meaning Dancing Dolphin, and this is our historical wall where we did everything to make money but didn't sell our conscience. Boare was very happy that they didn't give up. Yuchan said even if she leaves him later, he will still trust her. So now she has to take responsibility for him, and of course, Boare happily agreed. At this point, Taere and her brother weren't as happy as before. She said she met Yuchan and told him that her brother had betrayed Yuchan. The company in China also belongs to him. But Yuchan knew everything. Chairman Min angrily told Taere to leave and never appear in front of him again. Meanwhile, Yuchan and Boare went to the hospital together. He wants to introduce an app to help blind people. It will provide information through a camera, notifying about obstacles ahead, even small stones on the roadside. The doctors found it very good but wanted to know about the cost. He said it's free because it's in the testing phase. Then he complained to Boare about why she asked for help when it's their benefit. She said marketing is difficult and exhausting like that. When you create something, you also need to sell it to someone. And to get them to accept it, we have to say things we don't want to and endure humiliation. Yuchan wonders then when will we make money? Boare believes that if you give first, you will receive later. Then Dujin talks to the president about personal matters and he was brave to go to the hospital. Tension that is both anxious and tense. When Miso came in for examination, Dujin left the room. Now his thoughts are very complex. Then he returned to the ultrasound room and carefully looked at the baby. Dujin changed his mind to tell Miso to marry and have children. Now both have reconciled and hugged each other in happiness. Now everyone in the company also knows that Dujin is about to get married, so teasing him is not due to an accident. The president told everyone to focus on work, create something interesting and fun. Surprisingly, the Seoul City Police investigating the case called, saying they caught the person who made false information about Nexton. Yuchan asked why Captain Go did that. Because of money or revenge on me, he said both. Yuchan guessed that President Min instructed him. But he said he did it himself to sabotage Yuchan. Captain Go said he always dedicated himself to Nexton and could support his family with the money earned from the game he created. But the one who gave the opportunity and took it away was Yuchan himself. 7 years of effort were rejected and now they have hurt each other enough, so there is no more resentment towards Yuchan. Yuchan also said he bears no grudge. Before leaving, Yuchan said he would start his own company like before. If he wants to come back, Yuchan won't abandon him a second time. After that, Yuchan went to see President Min. He said he met Captain Go at the police station. President Min said he had nothing to do with the dissemination of personal information. Yuchan asked why he turned out like this. Where did things go wrong and since when? President Min said since he couldn't bear Yuchan anymore. You insulted me by calling me a Western dog, rejecting all my efforts, and treating me like a cheap salesperson. Yuchan asked if he changed. Would President Min be like when they first met? Can both return to how they used to before he left? Back to the company, everyone shows Yuchan the first project of Dancing One. Yuchan commented that the idea is good, but the quality is too poor. Boare expressed disappointment, saying we shouldn't just discard it, but Yuchan said he would give everyone a week to refine it and make it more exciting. Then he assigned each person a task. Everyone was surprised that he could now recognize each person's face. After that, he and Boare made efforts to find partners for the project. Now he is very sincere, no longer rude or arrogant as before. On the way back, Boare mentioned that Yuchan seemed a bit forceful, but he said he bowed on behalf of the employees. He confessed that he used to only think about himself. If he failed, he was the only one who suffered, so he wasn't afraid. But now he wants to do well for those who have come to him. Boare praised Yuchan for being the best today. Then they both nodded off, leaning on each other. At the final stop, the driver had to wake them up. Seeing Yuchan looking tired, Boare took him to a nearby amusement park. Here, he recalled childhood memories. This is where his mother abandoned him. He remembers clearly that day when his mother brought him here. His mother always held his hand. After buying him an ice cream, she told him to sit here and wait, not to go anywhere. But Yuchan didn't know that from then on, his mother would never return. Boare thought his mother must have had some suffering. Surely, in the future, the two of them would reunite. But Yuchan didn't hope for his mother to come back. Yuchan accepted that he would forever be an orphan. Boare held Yuchan's hand to comfort him because she was there for him. As for Chu Tich-min, after meeting with the police, he directed Kai to hand over a USB containing personal information of 10 million people. Captain Go investigated the information as instructed by him. When they returned to the company, they received news. Chu Tich-min admitted to investigating personal information last month. They are also investigating him for falsifying stocks and illegally transferring funds abroad. At this moment, Yuchan remembered the early days. The two brothers cooperated innocently and brightly. They embraced each other when the mini-file reached 1 million members. Then set the market cap at 1,000 billion, creating a strong next-in back then was so joyful. Yuchan was lost in thought when Boare approached. She invited him home and offered to make noodles for him because she knew he hadn't eaten dinner. Yuchan felt a bit embarrassed so he declined. Boare said Miso had already been to her place because it was fate. On the way, Yuchan asked him who was the first person she took home. Boare said that he was the first person she took home, but Yuchan didn't believe her. By the time they got to Seoul, he was already living with Miso. How could she have taken anyone home? Yuchan joked that she had taken him home before. Boare laughed along with him. At Boare's house, Yuchan was still wearing Boare's pajamas. Yuchan talked about how he went to Nexton before Taeju confessed. Boare curiously asked if he hated Taeju. Yuchan felt that Taeju had ruined him, so he had every right to hate him. He couldn't understand why someone who had struggled together would do that to him. Boare said he could hate Taeju if he wanted and didn't need to feel regret. But regardless, he should forgive him. Because Taeju had already confessed. Yuchan couldn't think of anything now. He felt a strong nostalgia for Taeju. Then Boare asked if he wanted to go back to how things were before. She also remembered that time, but she liked everything as it was now. If he went back to how things were before, what they have now would disappear. Then she turned off the lights and went to bed. They woke up in each other's arms the next morning. It turns out Yuchan had gone to the wrong room when he went to the bathroom during the night. Boare felt extremely embarrassed about the current situation. Today, Yuchan visited Taeju but he didn't want to see Yuchan. A month later, President Lee had an interview. The interviewer asked how, within 3 months of founding the new company, he successfully captured the mobile app market. What was the key to his success? Yuchan shared that when he was ousted from Nextin, he felt like a bird with clipped wings, but thanks to colleagues and friends by his side, he was able to rise again to where he is today. When asked if Yuchan planned to return to Nextin, he outright declined. The next day, Director Nam came to find Yuchan and wanted him to return to Nextin, because only Yuchan could ensure the strong development of Nextin. But Yuchan refused because now he has something to protect. Other members also regretted Yuchan's decision not to return to Nextin. Boare guessed that Yuchan really wants to return there. Yuchan of course couldn't abandon his spiritual child like that. But now it's difficult for him to go back there anymore. Director Nam suggested he return to Nextin, but he refused because he will protect this place. Boare reassured him that even without him, everyone here will be fine. Later, Yuchan and Tae visited Taeju. Yuchan mentioned that Nextin might go bankrupt, but Taeju didn't care at all. Taeju also didn't want to see him anymore. Before Taeju left, Yuchan vowed to restore Nextin. Will Taeju be willing to return to Nextin to work by then? Meanwhile, Tae said she would leave this place for somewhere far away. Perhaps the two will never meet again in the future. Tae apologized to Boare, and then they each went their separate ways. Meanwhile, the vice minister visited Boare and said she would return to her hometown on Jeju Island, and she would open an office for election campaigning next month. Boare worried that she wouldn't be able to do it and would be a burden to the vice minister, but the vice minister told her not to worry, just do her best and live comfortably like now. Now Miso also knows about it. Before, Miso opposed Boare working for Yuchan but couldn't stop her, but now she really wants to know why Boare changed her mind to go somewhere else. Isn't everything here going so well? Boare slowly said it's because Yuchan is too capable. If they are together, they won't be evenly matched. Here, Yuchan told Dujin that he will return to Nextin. If he has Dujin's support, he will be very happy. Yuchan and Boare agreed to meet at a cafe. Both have something they want to say to each other. Yuchan said he will return to Next In and wants Boare to come back with him. But Boare refused because she promised to work for the vice minister, and if the vice minister wins the election, Boare will live on Jeju Island. Yuchan asked if Boare would stay if he didn't return to Next In. But Boare said that those two things are unrelated. Boare just wants to find a job of her own. Yuchan got angry and said Boare should just do whatever she likes and leave. Later, Yuchan went to Next In and thanked director Nam for coming back. Yuchan also thanked him for trying to keep Next In running. Here, Boare is packing her things to leave. The employees are watching their press conference. He said he would research and promise not to sell Next In or declare bankruptcy. Director Nam then handed over many files for him to resolve. But Yuchan couldn't focus on work and just wanted to call Boare. Boare intentionally didn't pick up when she saw Yuchan's number. Yuchan was upset and went to Boare's house to find her. Boare had just returned home at this time. He angrily asked Boare if she really planned to go to Jeju with the vice minister. He said she promised not to go far and take responsibility for him. Boare wanted to know if he would be satisfied if she stayed. Yuchan said he was very happy because he felt very comfortable, happy, and relaxed with her by his side. Now Yuchan really needs Boare, but Boare doesn't need him, because being with him is very painful. Even though she likes him, she still hesitates. Yuchan was frustrated and wanted to know what was going on. If she wants an easy job, he will find one for her in Seoul. Yuchan's words may have touched Boare's pride, so she angrily walked away. The next morning, Yuchan called Boare to apologize for yesterday. He said she should seize the opportunity to go to Jeju Island, and he told her he had gone to see Jeju. He said he would save Next In and asked Jeju to come back. Boare was surprised because she thought he wouldn't see Jeju again. Then he said a few things at Next In had changed, making Boare miss the place. Yuchan said he would take Boare to Next In tonight. Boare was very confused because through that phone call, she seemed to like him more. I came to Boare and said I wouldn't meet him. Yuchan worried about not understanding the reason, so she said because she liked him so much, she was confused. So I won't see you anymore. Boare wants to arrange to leave home quickly. Seeing Boare sad and tired, Miso asked if she had met Yuchan, but Boare said she didn't meet because she was afraid she couldn't walk when she saw that face. Miso said they both liked each other so this problem could be solved, but Boare thought he just needed to stop, not an emotional problem. Meanwhile, Yuchan was also troubled by this issue, so he went to find Taeju. He asked, "Someone said I like her so much that I'm very confused." "What's going on?" Taeju said it's love and guessed it was Boare. Taeju asked how Yuchan feels about her. Yuchan said he really likes being close to her and wants more time with her. And he told Taeju things he hasn't told anyone else. Taeju advised him to tell her these things, not him. Boare needs to know how he feels about her. Taeju asked about the situation at Next In. Yuchan said not to worry because he has come up with a perfect plan. Then he had a meeting with the executives of Taesan. He requested an additional 5 trillion won for the investment fund. Everyone opposed it, but the chairman of the conglomerate agreed under one condition. If the launch of Big Five is not successful within 1 year, Taesan will merge with Next In to compensate for the investment. At this time, Boare also visited her brother to bid farewell because she was about to leave and promised to come back to visit him. Taeju was happy that his sister didn't hate him anymore. Then he wished her well and told her to take care. Meanwhile, Yuchan and director Nam felt the need to hire employees. Currently, there are very few staff unexpectedly, and capable hands have returned. Because he wants to rebuild Next In once again, Yuchan happily thanked everyone. He said that information technology makes human life richer. And Big Five as well. He asked what people think when someone invents the telephone. Maybe he wants to hear the voice of a loved one who is far away, or wants his family to know how he is doing. Maybe that's his desire. What we are doing is related to the longing to be with those we love. So let's do it well for those people. On Miso's wedding day, Boare worried because it was almost time for the ceremony and the main character hadn't appeared yet, so she called to urge them. Meanwhile, Chansu said President Lee will be late because of a signing ceremony with Taesan. He asked Boare when she would go to Jeju Island. She said she has a flight today after the wedding. At this moment, the main characters have just arrived. The bride and groom happily step out amid congratulations from friends and loved ones. Boare is moved to tears. President Lee was afraid he wouldn't make it, so he sent a congratulatory video to Dujin. After the successful signing ceremony, he hurried away, and Chansu informed that Boare had left for the airport. Yuchan quickly caught up with Boare. "You have nothing to say to me?" Boare apologizes for thinking he would stop her. Yuchan said Next In has revived and everything is perfect except for her. And he hopes she will stay as he knows she loves him deeply. He also realizes he loves her and wants to be the man she loves. Then they kissed each other. Boare still had to go to Jeju because of her promise to the vice minister. Yuchan didn't stop her anymore because they understood their feelings for each other. They could talk and look at each other every day. Distance is not an issue when you love each other. But kissing each other couldn't happen right away. At this moment, Taere also happened to be at the airport and unexpectedly met the painter. Both ended up in the same place, now believing in destiny. At next in, everyone joyfully welcomed Taeju's return. The two brothers embraced each other as if nothing had happened, and the historical wall has been restored. Meanwhile, President Lee was as usual, still calling Bo-rae while working. This time Bo-rae was upset, thinking he didn't want to hear her speak. Has his heart changed? As he tried to explain, he suddenly saw an acquaintance passing by. He wanted to know who it was, then saw Do-jin and Chansu there too. He rushed out to see Bo-rae, who had returned to him. They embraced each other in happiness. Alright, the movie ends here. Take 3 seconds to subscribe to our channel to support us. Thank you for watching our channel. See you in the next movie.